January the 8th, flocks. Flocks of birds, both large and small, are one of the most attractive sights of January. Large murders of crows, up to 200, regularly congregate by the windmill on Wimbledon Common. Smaller groups can be seen on many open pitches and commons. Finches may be mixing with tits, and it is well worth looking for strangers in their midst. Even on garden lawns, up to 20 or more blackbirds can congregate to check out rivals and possibly identify mates. Along the Thames, murmurations of starlings are noticeable at dusk on their flight path to their roosts. V-shaped skeins of Canada geese are common, moving to and fro between feeding and roosting areas. Black-headed gulls are doing the same. Richmond by the river is a good place to see some of these flypaths at dusk, as it is between the city and the reservoirs at Staines, where many of the birds go seeking a safe roost. Lapwings, greenfinches, larks, linnets, and even yellowhammers are also all still flocking. Of these, yellowhammer flocks are the rarest and most spectacular. There are still regular reports that they do occasionally occur in the Ingerbourne Valley. Many of these winter flocks contain a fair proportion of juveniles, presumably learning where the food can be found whilst being protected from predators by dozens of nearby eyes. It is also worth looking for bramblings among flocks of chaffinches, especially in beechwoods. They are similar to chaffinches, but can be distinguished by their orange breasts and bright white rumps, which are usually noticed as they fly away. Flocks of up to 100 or more are reported from places such as Thorndon Park. Elsewhere in Britain, flocks of bramblings have reached 150,000, and in other parts of Europe, several million. Their home are the vast taiga forests of northern Europe, from which they only venture south when food becomes short. Consequently, we never hear them sing, although when they do, they have been compared to greenfinches. Sometimes they do stay to breed in Scotland, where they're called the tartan bird, on account of having similar colours to the cloth. At one time they were eaten and said to taste a little better than chaffinches. Goldfinches don't seem to accept visitors wanting to join their charms. In Victorian times, they were caught and kept as cage birds for their beauty, most dying quickly soon after capture. Quiet bullfinches are notoriously shy and tend to move around in pairs, calling regularly to each other softly. They were also kept as cage birds, as well as being killed to make fashionable bullfinch hats. Being good mimics in captivity, they were often taught to copy other birds. Schools of gulls, mainly black-headed, are now a familiar sight on London's commons and football pitches. Black-headed gulls are said to have arrived in London in the hard winter of 1898, when Londoners took pity on them and started to feed them in St. James's Park. Like other birds, they may be seen on open ground, taking advantage of either the soft earth, which may contain large numbers of earthworms, or perhaps just enjoying the safety of the situation. Resident gull numbers are also now swollen by other winter visitors. They too may also be joined by starlings, wood pigeons or crows, all looking for something to eat on the surface of the soil. Gulls are especially common all along the Thames, where small numbers of the more piratical, lesser black-backed and greater black-backed gulls may now join them. The latter bird also congregates near rubbish dumps, where they scavenge. In the hardest weather, they all shelter under bridges, and at dawn and dusk can sometimes be seen flying to and fro from their roosting sites. Colourful flocks of thick greenfinches are occasionally encountered in parks. Even more colourful are the groups of mandarin ducks to be seen on Connaught Water. Other birds which roost communally this month include herons, cormorants, and pied wagtails. Flocks of siskins are particularly rewarding to watch. They look like small green and yellow streaked parrots, with black foreheads, and have the habit of hanging underneath the branches upon which they are feeding. They keep up constant conversation with each other with repeated calls which sound not unlike tea leaves. They were a popular bird to cage in Chaucer's time on account of their good looks, mild manners, and pleasant chattering, as well as a natural ability to settle down to a cage life. In these more enlightened times, we can enjoy them all the more as they move in groups among the trees lining the River Colne, or perhaps the wetter areas a bushy park looking for older trees whose seeds they seem particularly fond of.